We're going to move over to the Hellborn side, whose first pick by Imbapingu is Parasite. Really no surprise there. It seems like WOP Dash picks that hero up almost every single time that they get the opportunity. And I'm not too familiar with the build that they usually run on him, but yeah, I mean, Parasite can do a number of things. He can be that burst damage ganker. He can go team item support with a bulwark, stuff like that. So puzzle box for pushing. We'll have to wait and see how it pans out for them. Second pick coming out by Legion side, they pick up the War Beast, who surprisingly made it to third pick. Doesn't usually last that long, I want to say, but that fills their jungle slot, at least in most cases. You know, we have seen the Suicide War Beasts make use of that battle cry here and get some farm and help out his teammates, but in most cases, that's what we're looking at here. And so for the Hellborn team, they're coming up with their next pick. Ideally, most teams here trying to formulate some type of strategy, but not give too much away about their draft. I'd say that so far, both teams have accomplished that. Really not too sure where they would go from here. Being that initiation is pretty important, I'm leaning towards, at least in the next two picks, Hellborn team grabbing an initiation hero here. It does look like they're going to pick up Bubbles here, somewhat fitting that role, but again, versatile enough to the point where you're not really sure if he's going to be a mid or a suicide hero. Legion team picks up Tundra. Oh my god, it's been so long since we've seen this hero, and he's one of my personal favorite heroes. Honestly, just not even for his ultimate ability, which is a great initiation tool, but being able to use the Call of Winter and get your bird out to scout map positioning. They're going to have the Coral from Tundra, the Shiver, and the Warbeast Hellhounds pretty much have vision of the map for the entire game if they decide to utilize that. And that's pretty much one of the most important aspects of competitive Han, is knowing what the enemy team is doing and their positioning. And before we go any further into these bans, take a look at the Magebane pickup by Hellborn team. So long since has he been the god tier, at least top 3 tier, as described by most of the competitive Han scene carries, for his ability to output damage and really flash farm seems to be what the strongest aspect of this hero is. So Legion team's going to have to come up with something that can either take out the game before Magebane gets too dangerous, or something that can just deal with him. Maybe some extensive lockdown, sheep sticks, hellflowers, and just in general lots of stuns. But with that being said, we'll move on to the second banning phase. Legion side takes out Rally. So a suicide hero, even though they already picked up Bubbles, interesting concept there. They banned Kinesis, another suicide hero, and then Meraxis, a great initiation hero, which Hellborn hasn't really picked up yet. Yeah, Bubbles can set up a fight with, a Portal Key in, Kelp Field, and Song of the Sea, but at the same time, I usually feel like you need some more presence to follow that up. Bubbles is more of a setup hero than that be-all, end-all initiator. And Meraxis definitely would have fit that role. So I can't argue with Reason Gaming's bans, at least in this sense. Hellborn team, though, they're going to ban out Sandwraith and the Dark Lady, two of the harder carries, since they're really not banking on Warbeast being the solo core carry. And they take out Lodestone, who's just a great hero in terms of setting up AoE spells, the Shatter Storm, the Rocket Drill. They both combo really well with Hellbringer's ultimate. And, that's reason enough right there for the ban. I don't think we have to go into any more detail about that. So that wraps up the banning phase for both heroes. Legion team still needs to pick a potentially a suicide or a mid and a carry, more importantly than anything. So let me see here. Looks like they're putting a decent amount of thought into it, and then they grab Cthulhu. So I'm leaning towards that's going to be their suicide hero. He's a hero that we don't see very often. In fact, this recent gaming lineup is quite different than we're used to seeing. So what we'll probably see, the benefit of this hero is, he's able to, if he's struggling in the lane, he's able to move into the Hellborn jungle and use his hook'em ability and steal a little bit of farm from Parasite and prevent him from snowballing, especially if he takes like a Catman champion or something like that that would have sped up Parasite's farming. Now instead you have a heavy camp that has only like 2 little minions in it. So that's a good reason to grab him. In terms of the Hellborn team, they're going to draft Moira. They did need a support hero, and they still, I think, need a strong initiator, but she's going to work well with the bubbles and setting up team fights and buying time for the rest of the team to rotate over with that ultimate. And we just haven't seen her in a while, ever since there was a slight nerf to her abilities. But it was interesting that she went from picked every game to almost never picked. I don't think the nerf was that much of a detriment to her skill set. So good to see her returning to the scene, as it usually means an action-packed game. And Legion team, with their last pickup, is going to go for the hard carry in Puppet Master. And one great thing about Puppet Master is, if at the very least, he has a lot of disable built into him. So just locking down Magebane even further is going to be the most important part for them to be able to actually get him locked down to finish the job. So it will be a suicide bubbles, most likely, as we see that the final hero picked up here is going to be Deadwood. And that's just more single target burst damage. If they can take out a hero like Hellbringer before the fight even starts with the Willowmaker or Falcon Punch, that means no huge ultimate, kind of breaks up the synergy of Legion team. So also Deadwood, I think, was a solid pickup here. He's going to do a good job as long as he can succeed in his lane and be strong enough to take Hellbringer out in those team fights. Then the Hellborn strategy should pose a pretty good threat here. So we're already going to see these teams break up here. We'll have to see if Legion team decides to scout out with those Hellhounds and the Shiver. Tundra still hasn't skilled into it just yet here. I see Shorecan in the chat. Yeah, man, if you come back later, this is going to be a 6-hour cast. I'd love to have you as a co-caster. Seems like everybody's kind of busy today, so just hit me up on Skype, and we'll make it happen for sure. And in the meantime, we'll do what we can over here. So interestingly enough, Parasite did pick up red boots, which leads me to believe that he's going to be jungling aggressively in the Legion side jungle. I'm not sure if he was afraid of the presence of Cthulhu kind of interrupting his jungle, or just in general he wants to be able to aggressively punish this Puppet Master. But it's always interesting to see that. It always means a more active game, which is basically what you want at the end of the day, at least if you're me. I love to see more action-packed games than the passive meta where it's just farm, and then start a team fight. That's kind of interesting little avatar there. But the creep waves have spawned. We're going to be looking at Bubbles versus Tundra. Cthulhu up against Magebane with a harassing Moira, and you already seen it down here. Deadwood versus Puppet Hellbringer. That is not a fun lane to be in. We'll have to keep a close eye on that down there. But in the meantime here, Bubbles already, pulling the lane back to the tower to make sure that he doesn't get denied experience, because that's probably what Tundra is going to be aiming to do in that lane. Do whatever he can to kind of shut down Bubbles completely. At least until Bubbles gets a few more levels, then he can really put the harassment in there. Leaving Puppet Master is one of those heroes that against the Deadwood, he really could fend for himself. It might harm his farm just a little bit, but he's definitely going to be able to harass Deadwood, who doesn't have a ton of regen. 1 extra health potion pooled to him. So we already see Parasite on the move. Actually, looking up top lane here, Cthulhu's manning up, but Definitely every time he decides to do that, where they're going to punish him, he does get the trample away, so mitigating a decent amount of the damage. That's what we're going to be dealing with here today. Let me turn down these game sounds just a little bit here. Okay, in the middle lane, yeah, we can see they're already going back and forth pretty hardcore here. Bubbles and Tundra doing what they can to put the harassment in, really, to win their lane. Not too much just ignoring each other and putting the focus on the creep farm. But here's something that I'm not too fond of, is when a Bubbles does skill 2 points into Shell Surf and uses it to farm. We've seen time and time again where they get punished for that. And maybe not yet, but all it takes is a single rotation and wait for that moment, and then that's going to be a dead Bubbles, but we'll have to see here. Hellbringer finally returning to the lane, and it's about time, really, because Deadwood already getting level 3. Look at the XP charts. He's doing much better than he should be, at least against a dual range lane. Warbeast's going to bottle up an invisibility rune, but not too much he's going to be able to do with that aside from scout out the parasite, perhaps. Up top, we're getting ready to harass the Cthulhu Font, but when he does have that body shield up, it makes it kind of hard to even harass him at all. She does body block him into the trees here. Magebane does, and he's going to use the tree to kind of cut himself a path. But this could be a little bit dangerous for him. You can see them using the Shiver here to kind of assist him, and he is going to be able to get away, but that could have been bad for him. Definitely well played by Time to Die, using that tree-eating ability item. Oh, here comes the initiation onto Deadwood. They hold him in place with the Puppeteer's hold. He's going to drop the Rotten Grasp onto Hellbringer, but he's just taking way too much damage. Dot damage between Hellbringer and him. Bloodlust kill going out. Credit to Puppet Master. And Deadwood, who was off to a great start, gets a little bit greedy, and as a result, falls down and puts his team in a deficit. So for the first time this game, we see a little bit of action and just the danger that is this bottom lane. Oh, I think he got a little bit too comfortable, maybe even part of the strategy by Hellbringer. Let Deadwood get a taste of the XP and make him overstay his welcome. But you can see he's rotated here into the bottom lane. If he lands a Rotten Grasp, I'm not even certain if it's going to be a dead Tundra, but it could definitely hinder him and put him out of the lane. He's actually going to rotate up to top here. And he's got a bottle sip, and he's at least going to get a refresher, so... Here's a haste rune. Deadwood's going to be forced to pick that up, or the Hellhounds surely would have destroyed it. And he's going to come bottom lane just in time to get a nice wave, so that'll take him up to level 4.5 easily. So we're going to get another Ward of Sight delivered down here. She is, going to be spotted by the Shiver here. That's a good job by Tundra helping out his suicide laner up top, realizing he doesn't really need that. Yeah, and Deadwood does hit level 4 here. I mean, that crucial point, if he gets level 6, then he can rotate really in any lane and guarantee a kill, so. Nothing much in the way of item pickups just yet. We see a Warbeast working on the Abyssal Skull. Steam Boots picked up, and now Bubbles has to be careful. Tundra is level 6. One more bottle sip, and he has that ultimate ready, so Bubbles going to be wise to that and fall back. But yeah, Steam Boots picked up on the Puppet Master. Tundra with a Chalice bottle combination pretty much ensures that he never runs out of mana. He's able to harass with those piercing shards. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Steam Boots onto Magebane, and really nothing else in the way of the Hellborn team. Not yet, at least. Pretty early in the matchup, so. Alright, here comes the initiation out of the Cthulhu Font. They're going to drop the Mana Sunder. Rotation from Parasite. They're putting a lot of damage. He doesn't even have a chance to trample away, and Hellborn team getting the counter kill. So that brings it to 1-1, and though it takes 3 heroes, I mean, Parasite was in the area already, so definitely a well-placed gank there. We do have a disconnect on the Hellborn team here. I'm not sure if we're going to see a pause or what. In the meantime, that rotation does mean the bottom lanes open up for Puppet Master to do what he can to push on the lane and put pressure onto the tower. We can see that he is going to be going for that Assassin Trowel build. So looking to get aggressive early, which means it's going to open up the window of opportunity for Warbeast to stick around and farm. And with this dual core lineup, it is going to be rough to take on the Mage Bane in later stages, don't get me wrong, but to have 2 farmed carries is probably your best chance. Especially if they can have Puppet get aggressive before the Shrunken Head comes out onto Mage Bane. I think that's going to be really important. So Moira looking to set up a rotation. She does have red boots now, so her persistence was rewarded. Hellborn team's going to lose bottom tower. But at the very least, this might give an opportunity for Deadwood to soak up a little bit more experience, hit level 6, and perhaps, by a Veiled Rot, get some rotations going. Bubbles working on Steam Boots, but you can see 320 GPM, only slightly under Tundra. It's kind of surprising. I thought that he was doing a little bit worse than that, but obviously that's pretty even balance here. The main discrepancy is how much better Puppet Master's doing than Mage Bane at this point. He's going to be on a pretty slow start to getting that Rune Cleaver, which is going to, the snowballing tool for him. I don't know what this means. Somebody's speaking to me from across the dimension. Shiver's gonna get knocked out there. Okay, I think we have a co-caster here, but I'm gonna have to change the settings on my Skype, so bear with me for just a second, guys. Hello?
Hello, hello.
Hi, Shortcan. Welcome to the cast here, man. Are you already in the game?
Yeah, I'm already in the game.
Okay, cool.
You saw my little message, I hope.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was you or Quincy or what. I've never seen anybody else do that message before.
Yeah. But everybody got to know a little bit of the secrets,
Nice.
from co-casting and stuff. But okay, tell me, what's going on in this game?
Pretty much, there's only been 1 or 2 kills throughout the entire duration. The only thing that's really noteworthy is that Puppet Master's got a considerably better start than Mage Bane, and I think that's what Reason Gaming needs to actually win this, because Hellborn's lineup definitely looks a little bit more deadly in terms of just the potential there.
I mean, that Mage Bane is definitely the one you can't forget about. But then again, on Legion, you do have Warbeast and a Puppet Master.
Yep, that's at least what they got going for them.
And I mean, Labyrinth is also doing really well mid with that Chandra. And I mean, he's going to be a threat for the Mage Bane, because if he can just get his ultimate off, that level 3 ultimate just does such a long stun. 4 seconds of lockdown.
Yeah, and that compiled with the Puppet Master was kind of going over that. They do have plenty of disable to lock down the Mage Bane and actually get a kill. There's initiation down bottom onto Puppet Master as Skeleton King inside of the Parasite. Going to lock him down. He will fall. Warbeast, though, activating that ultimate, he's going to try to get a counter kill if possible. He's going to switch his attention to Parasite as Deadwood kind of juking through the trees here that I don't think he's very long for this world.
Stun is going to miss.
He's making him use a lot of the cooldowns, so kind of by proxy, he saved Parasite by making himself so elusive, but it ends up being a 1-for-1 exchange. Bubbles using his ultimate there on Tundra in mid lane. Not really much coming of that, though.
But Tundra should actually be careful.
Here comes the Tundra ultimate onto Parasite. It was good. Nice locking him down, doing a little bit of damage, but the Shards of Heart kind of absorbed by Shiver. And now it looks like it's going to be a turn altogether. Parasite's going to get held by the Puppet hold. Hellbringer's trying to set something up. Fortunately, not level 6 just yet, so in the way of Legion team bringing 4 players to mid, I guess they're going to push here.
But I really like the Reason draft, actually. In terms of, laning phase as well as into the mid game.
Yes.
And,
Ron grasp, Tundra goes down, Bubbles falls down. It kind of just a back and forth trade here. All the while, though, Mage Bane left to pretty much decimate top lane. He took the tower out, and he's going to keep pressuring here.
He is going to have his cleaver soon. So, I mean, they shouldn't be too worried because they have the 2 heroes, Puppet Master and Warbeast, getting decent farms. So, in that regard, they're fine, but they need to start addressing him when he gets that cleaver, because it's just going to go out of control. Like, I was playing a game today with Magebane, and if you just farm, you don't get any kills, you can get up to 800 GPM easily.
Assassin Shroud on Puppet Master here. He finds Moira. Look at the damage coming out just from the one auto attack. Able to lock him down without using one cooldown there. And that's one thing I was hoping for. He got the early Shroud. He's just going to create more space for Warbeast to really start getting farm, and Tundra too. Reason Gaming's performing exceptional right now, which is what they have to do. So.
Time to die is also really close to his portal key, so he's gonna have it before either mid and the Suicide Deadwood, which is really impressive performance by him. 270 GPM as Suicide.
Yeah, he did pretty well here. That's for sure, especially considering Deadwood was pretty much solo up against Puppet Master, and he suffered pretty bad. Hellbringer was kind of just stacking the entire time in the jungle. That's why Warbeast is 330 GPM. I mean, that's pretty good. Or, I mean, he has 4 assists too.
Yeah, I mean, it should start growing now that he has the Abyssal and the Steam Boots. I would like to see him send out his Wolves to just go clear out the easy camp on the Hellborn side, or use him for scouting, because he doesn't really need the dogs to farm anymore.
Puppet Master with the Assassin Shroud here up at the bottom lane. He's waiting for a rotation from Hellbringer. He goes to lockdown. They put him down, and he's going to fall. You can't ask for better use of the Assassin Shroud. Already getting 3 kills since picking it up in like a matter of 4 minutes.
480 gold per minute as well, and they're free to punish them bottom. No.
Portal key. Yep, Cthulhuphant does have it. Hellborn's got a lot of people over here, though. He's got to be careful.
Magebane's going to have his Cleaver in about 1 more creep kill. So that's really what they have to focus on now. Bubbles is going to pick up the portal key as well.
Yes. And I don't know. They last picked Deadwood, and there was a couple of other heroes. I was hoping for something more of like a real initiation hero. They're going to come up top lane here. Or maybe Cthulhuphant's just going to farm it, yeah. But they grabbed Deadwood, and I was thinking that's good to like insta-kill Hellbringer, which kind of breaks up their teamfight potential. But aside from Bubbles, they don't really have a great initiation tool for Hellborn team.
Yeah, but I mean, if Deadwood's going to be using his ultimate on Hellbringer, then I feel like Warbeast and Puppet Master are going to do too much in teamfights.
So you think it'd be better to kind of focus? I know he's not going to one-shot either of those heroes. Maybe Puppet Master.
Yeah. I mean, just the effect of reducing the total amount of strength, 35% strength on a Warbeast, that's going to do a whole lot, because you have to realize that Primal Rage, it's base damage that you get from it. You get more base damage. Or you get more damage based on your strength.
Okay.
So it's not on your actual attack damage. Mid lane.
Another initiation onto Deadwood, but the team is here to support him this time. Bubbles with the Kelp Field and the Shell Surf, putting damage in. Puppet Master, he falls down. Now here comes the Hellbringer ultimate. Just a little bit late. It's enough to finish off Deadwood, but now Magebane is coming into the party, putting in the auto attacks onto Tundra. No real lockdown in place here. Here comes the Shards of Harkon. Don't connect onto... Oh, it does connect onto Tundra and Warbeast. Cthulhuphant stun to lock Magebane down. They all get sucked into the vortex. I don't know who's still left standing at this point here.
Magebane? Is he going to die?
One more auto attack.
Man.
He's going to get away. Cthulhuphant in pursuit with a haste rune, though. So there is a chance here that he can get him. He misses the trample stun. And it looks like Magebane is actually going to get away here.
Yeah, really good juke.
Yeah, that was definitely well played by him.
Yeah, and now this is the point where Legion is in trouble. They lost their lead, they overextended with the Puppet Master, and Magebane survived. This is where they have to start watching out, because Magebane's going to be going for that Firebrand to, boost his farm even more, just move around the map a bit better. And once he has that, it's going to be really difficult to stop him.
Yeah, and just like that, I mean, it didn't seem like that. Our initiation up on top on a Puppet Master, or by Puppet Master on a Deadwood, going to take him out. I was going to say it didn't. I mean, it doesn't look like one team fight is that big of a deal, but just the gold charts, it instantly switched Magebane and Puppet Master as being leaders on their teams. So definitely was considerable.
Cyrox is going to be going for a Hellflower next. So I really like that versus Magebane. I mean, it's going to be the difference between killing him very often. I'm sure that the Geometer's Bane is just too good, because Puppet's Hold doesn't work anymore in that case. The hold, not the show.
Right, yeah, so it can be dispersed by
Yeah.
using that item, I see.
Hmm.
But yeah, the Hellflower definitely makes sense here. Just anything they can do to make sure they finish him, because they are all in on Magebane. If he falls down, there's nothing else really to be afraid of by the Legion team.
Yeah. Parasite could end up being a problem, but right now he's got, I want to say, yeah, he's only got puzzle 1. Which, yeah, at 17 minutes, I mean, he did try to go aggressive at the start, but I feel like he has had a limited impact. He killed the Puppet Master once, and for the rest, he's been in a couple kills, but I think he could have had a bigger impact. And he even missed the ward because the vision from the puzzle book smaller at level 1 is very small. There we go. He had to walk right next to it to see it.
Okay.
Mid lane.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there is some action here. Hellborn is going to get initiated on by that Legion Ultimate Malphus. Tundra, though, staying alive for the most part. They're going to try to chase him down here. He gets his ultimate off, which is pretty important. It's going to allow Warbeast to come in and really mix things up a bit. Cthulhu gets a nice ultimate off, putting damage out left and right. 3 heroes fall down for the Hellborn team, and they want more. So Legion team coming out on top of that team fight, really.
Really heavily, actually. And Magebane now needs to just move to the top lane and start split pushing that, but is he going to be able to push faster than a Warbeast? I highly doubt it. And Warbeast, actually, what do you think he should go for in this game?
It's hard to say.
Because, I mean, he could opt to go for the puzzle box route, seeing as he has the Puppet Master with him, but he could also choose to go straight on for damage and lockdown, go for a Basher, or go for a Shield Breaker, or even go for the really team-oriented item with the...
Puppet Master, killing Magebane up top lane.
Yeah, that's what the ultimate's going to do.
I agree with your second analysis. Hellbringer, though, is going to get locked down here. Can he survive? Yes, he gets the battery off. I think he should go damage and Brutalizer. That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't going to say it because I don't know if that's a bad idea. But
nah, man, anything's fine. We're all just speculating here. I mean, he might choose to go for a Resto Stone. What do I know?
I think the Brutalizer, just because of more lockdown. The chance to go through. If Magebane picks up the Shrunken Head, which inevitably he will, that gives him more escape, and it will still go through that, right? So that's, if they can get him off and they can't get the Hellflower off, I think that'd be the best bet for them. Plus, who doesn't want more damage and bash on that hero where you chase down anything?
But I gotta say, the wording from Legion has been pretty good, and just overall their vision, having a Tundra and Shiver is it's a nice little move. But talking about his good warding, he just gets punched by cookies, and goodbye Hellbringer.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. He can kill Hellbringer so easily. If nothing else, towards the end of the game, if Deadwood gets really underleveled, like sometimes he does. He's kind of wandering around without any real purpose right now. But at the very least, no matter what, he's going to at least be able to kill Hellbringer no matter what and prevent that Malphus from coming out. I think that would be pretty important if he could at least get that off.
But it does look like Hellbringer is going for a Void Talisman, which is a really nice pickup versus the Hellborn team because they don't have that much magic damage. Even Parasite's damage comes mainly from the puzzle box auto attacks, which, of course, is physical.
Yep. That's true. That's a really smart pickup by Hellbringer, and plus it's always a great item when you're kind of on a budget. Initiation onto Moira. She's going to completely get malted down there. They do use the Tundra ultimate. I think it was a little bit excessive, but maybe they don't want her to get an ult off. And
yeah, it delays so much that the enemy team is able to respond. If they can just burst him down, then they're certain that the Hellborn team or the rest of the allies can't get there. But this could be an opening for Legion team to push the bottom lane because they are all around it. Oh, and if they can start it off with a pickoff on the Magebane, they do have the Puppet ultimate again.
Very close there. Puppet Master was probably just a few frames away from getting the hold off. But yeah, like you said, the Shiver, the Hellhounds, they have so much scouting ability and vision on the map. That's probably why they're doing so well right now.
The dogs as well as Shiver.
Let's see here. They spot Moira already, in the woods there. So
And I mean, they could spot out the Veiled Rod with the bird as well, if he were to move it closer.
interesting. Here comes Puppet Master, gonna move over into the
Okay, they're
bottom
gonna
lane.
see Deadwood. Oh,
Oh,
he tried to start it off, but he just couldn't. But they see now that the puzzle box has been used by Parasite, so wait for that to be done, and then they have a free push on the tower.
yep. So Magebane finally realizing that he needs to be off farming. Gonna really separate from this bottom lane, and Legion team's just gonna get a free bottom tower as a result. I guess Hellborn didn't want to take this fight, and I don't really blame them at this point.
Yeah, they are gonna try and push in top and mid, so if Reason doesn't respond correctly, they're gonna be at the losing end of this trade.
We do have TPs into the base, a top lane.
Oh,
Puppet
can
Master's
Puppet Master find
Looking for
Magebane?
Magebane, he's gonna find him, I
He's
think.
so close! Yeah, he found
him.
him. Oh, he didn't
Puppeteer's
ulti
hold.
correctly though.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I mean, making Magebane attack himself is
Now Legion team's
The
gonna
most fun to
force
watch.
TPs, yeah.
Bubbles is actually getting a lot of damage right here. Shrunken is going to be the choice of pickup for Warbeast. He's going to be chasing the Parasite, but he's going a bit too far. Here comes the Moira ultimate. They do have Deadwood Punch, so...
They have Malphus too.
Bam. Here comes the response.
Cthulhu, there comes the Malphus ultimate. They're putting a lot of damage. Cthulhu activating his ultimate here. They're gonna pick off Magebane, and then soon after, Bubbles? No, he's actually gonna live. Now he's gonna be able to get away there, and now Cthulhu's gonna fall as a result. Though, did Warbeast fall?
Deadwood fell as well as did the Warbeast. Nice point out from Hellbringer as well.
I wasn't sure if
man.
they were gonna initiate there, but it kind of forced him to when Deadwood Falcon punched on the Warbeast there.
Yeah, and I mean, Magebane died. And so did, I think Parasite might have bought back even. No, but Parasite died, I think, at the start of that.
Yeah.
No? No, he didn't.
Honestly, I don't know.
He didn't die. Anyways, Deadwood did end up falling, so in the end it was in favor for Hellborn if you wouldn't count the Magebane dying before. But yeah, in the end, Legion comes out on top. I wonder if Puppet wants to go for the Magebane now. Just keep searching for him. Because here, look, Shiver. He found the Magebane again. And interestingly enough, Magebane is going to go for a Frostburn instead of the straight Shrunken. Okay, now he seems to be going for the Shrunken.
Who's that? Magebane?
Yeah, Magebane.
Okay. Yeah, he definitely needs it. There's just too much lockdown, and is Avalanche superior magic?
Yeah, it is.
It's superior stun.
I am going to have to leave for a short bit in a short time to eat some dinner, but I'll be back right after.
On to Deadwood. They're going to lock him down. Moira's going to get off that ultimate. It's going to hold him in place, though I don't think Hellborn's going to really try to collapse on him. Puzzle box activated. They're going to burst on the Tundra, lock him down. It's becoming a shit show. Hellborn team. Bubbles drops off the kelp field. They're going to lock two of them down, and it's turning into a bad way for the Hellborn team. Now Puppet Master going to lock down Bubbles. Bubbles going to fall to the Warbeast auto attacks. The ultimate activated onto Magebane. They stun with the Cthulhu font, and Hellbringer's putting the right-click auto attacks. Will it be enough? I think Magebane's going to get away, but the rest of his team falls down here. Yeah, that's perfectly fine if you have to go. Just message me again when you come back, and you could jump right back into it if you're interested.
For sure. Yeah, but here we go.
Yeah, this is coming to be a good game because if Magebane oh man, look at that.
Oh,
Magebane
wow.
dropped down like Master again. This could have gone really bad for Reason.
Genocide.
If they hadn't, found the Magebane constantly, but I feel like he's almost too confident. Like as well with when he was hiding in the top woods at the second tier tower of Legion, he was just too far up. You really can't do that when you're against a shrouding Puppet Master, And then again, he did the exact same thing. First tier tower's up. Oh, Puppet Master though.
Oh yeah, he could be in a little bit of trouble here. Deadwood, but Tundra coming in to save the day. They lock him down, and just like that, it's completely turned around. That's the Moira illusion, though they think it's real because they hellflowered it. Yeah, they're gonna realize soon after here that it's not, but always a good idea to kill that illusion anyways. And I did get rid of the big head because everybody was kind of flaming it. I thought it looked pretty cool.
Well, just wait until you have Geomancer. Because there's something glitched with it, that the Drillex avatar, it goes across an entire lane. That's how big it is.
What? I think
Yeah,
I saw a picture on the subreddit of Geomancer
yeah,
like looking weird. If that's what it was,
yeah.
there was like a
That
cog on screen or something.
exactly. It's huge. It's absolutely obnoxious.
Well, Legion team maybe even make an attempt at Kongor here. Probably not the safest bet yet, but they do have decent vision in the middle lane and towards the secret shop. So
Yeah, I mean, all Legion needs to do now is keep the vision up with the bird and the two hellhounds, and they've got this game.
yes,
If they don't get picked off, there's no way that Hellborn can recover if both Warbeast and Puppet Master are just farming.
yeah, and he did go with the Brutalizer. The Shrunken Head, I don't think it was the most important, but again, it's just gonna guarantee that he doesn't get locked down if the kelp field comes out or something.
Yeah, but I mean, the Shrunken is nice versus Deadwood, so even if you do get punched, you don't get grasped afterwards.
Okay, true
And
that.
then there's Parasite, who has quite a bit of burst. And not to forget
Well,
about the Mage Bane Drain.
the grasp is a physical stun now.
Yeah, no, it's not a physical stun. It's a
Physical
magical stun, but physical damage.
Oh, really? I thought they changed that at one point. Oh, maybe
Yeah.
they just made physical damage.
Yeah, but if you click on Deadwood and hover over Run Grasp, the type is magic, but the damage is
Okay.
physical.
Warbeast, though, going to get Storm Spirited here. He's going to get locked down before he can activate the Shrunken Head. This time he falls. And looks like Hellborn team wants to take a moment here to do some strategizing.
Or not.
Let's get
Just
it
a quick
on.
hot second there.
Alright, but I'm going to have to leave for a quick sec. I'll be back. So I'll end the call real quick. Sorry that it's so quick, but yeah.
That's okay, Shortcan. Thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon then.
Be right back.
Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to continue on here, and I definitely wouldn't want to miss this game. So we're going to stick to it. And let's see if there's any team that can come back from this. It is a Mage Bane. If there's any single carry that can have some type of chance of coming back, yeah, it's going to be him. Though it's looking pretty grim as Reason seems to be on the top of their game. They're going to be split pushing bottom while they trade for top tower here. And I don't think this works
The Hellborn
well
destroyed
for
a
WOP
Legion
Dash.
tower.
They are going to respond TPing back here and make sure that anything doesn't come out. So Tundra grabbing an Acolyte Staff. I mean, there's been a lot of changes to items lately. Yeah, I guess that's probably going to be a Sheep Stick, though it could be whatever that item is. Let's see, Cthulhufon's going to get spotted out by the Parasite, and Deadwood standing nearby is pretty much going to make sure that he doesn't force the initiation. But Puppet Master, he definitely will. He's going to put the auto attacks on a Deadwood, put the Puppeteer's hold on. Oh, the charge coming out by Cthulhufon, but it doesn't connect. Now they're forced to switch their attention onto Parasite. Here comes the Hellborn ultimate, Hellbringer ultimate onto Deadwood. They use a lot of their cooldowns, but they take two heroes out of the fight. There is a buyback available on a Parasite. Bubbles getting a nice kelp field off and a Song of the Sea onto three heroes, holding them in place while Mage Bane doing work, takes all three heroes out. They took that team fight, and the Legion side carries just weren't in the proper position to really set things up. And yeah, I think it was because they had to use so many cooldowns just to get the kill off on the Deadwood Parasite. Really need to cut your losses at one point. Even Warbeast here forced to use his ultimate to escape because he was feeling a little bit nervous of the kill potential of Bubbles and Mage Bane. So Mage Bane's going to finish that Shrunken Head. We saw it used there, and he's getting a little bit of farm in the meantime here to work towards his next item. Maybe a Savage Mace or a Wing Bow, something of that nature, since there's a lot of physical damage coming out. I was going to walk into Malphus here. But you can see Puppet Master just pretty much relentless. He's still got a few seconds on the Assassin Shroud. Oh, that was pretty dangerous for Bubbles. He doesn't even realize how important it was to PK out just like he did. That's going to be enough for the Hellborn team to kind of get back on their toes here. They mitigate the gold lead by about 3,000. And the experience lead, too. Takes down, it was about 10 or 12k there just a moment ago, so definitely trying to even things up a bit here. Hellflower completed on the Puppet Master. No new items for Warbeast just yet. We have the Luminous Prism. So many new items here. this will become probably a sheep stick. So Legion team got in the works at least 2, maybe more sheep sticks eventually. And we could definitely see that last team fight has kind of changed up the pace. Legion, who was really aggressive, we've seen them constantly looking for kills with the Shiver and the Hellhounds scouting out ganks. They've kind of gone a little bit more passive, feeling comfortable enough with their lead to just keep farming onto the 2 carries. Not sure if it's going to be the best decision, though. Moira's going to ultimate here and spot out the War Beast. Chooses not to activate the Shards of Harkon. And it's just going to be the Legion side kind of roaming up here. Puppet Master will be spotted out. Oh, initiation in the middle lane. Parasite, they're locking him down. Do they have enough damage? Yes, he cannot get an infest off. And now this is going to be a 5 versus 4. Depending on what Legion decides to do, if they want to pressure the middle lane here, they have all of their cooldowns. This could be the opening they have. If they even get a couple picks here, it's likely going to be Barracks. Hellborn team choosing to just not defend and keep pushing as Magebane here. The tower's falling really fast. I don't think that's the best decision. He finally does join the party, but now the tower falls. Hellbringer standing a little bit high on the ground for my liking. Yeah, smart move to back up just a little bit here. Here comes Moira initiation on the Hellbringer. No, Hellbringer will not. He falls before he can get his ultimate off. This is not good for the Legion side. Tulifant falls as well. Puppet Master activating his shrunken head, but he's just taking right-click damage from Magebane. Tundra's coming to join the party. Can he get an ultimate off? It looks like it's on cooldown. Dead will fall. Warbeast now putting out a lot of damage, but Magebane going toe-to-toe. They're standing so close. He gets a quad kill. He's going to make it. An annihilation. They lined up perfectly for the Ruined Cleaver and allowed Magebane to just completely clean up the fight. Now Hellborn team is on top. They can either go for Kongor here or look to put a dent in the base their own. Legion did not get any side of Barracks from that push. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm completely chalking that up to Hellbringer getting picked off before he got any of his abilities off. Because you need to lock him down. Honestly, you need to lock that Magebane down before that kind of thing happens. So you can see he's going to work here with the puzzle box minions and just solo Kongor. Really, if they can take that fight, they're not feeling rushed at all to pressure the base just yet. Though I don't know. I feel like that's a mistake that Legion team won't make time and time again. So really, I would have liked to see them capitalize, at least get a base tower out of it. But opting for the token, I feel like they could have got the token after pushing middle, but hey, what are you going to do? The big head has been removed. I think I removed it. Yeah, unfortunately. I was a fan of it. Maybe we turn it back on next game. But Magebane now picking up a Frostwolf Skull and a Geometer's Bane. He's not really easy to kill anymore. It's going to have to be a Puppet Master initiation. He's going to have to get the Voodoo Puppet off onto Magebane. And at this point, with the Token of Life, I don't think that Legion wants to take a team fight here. It would have to be a perfect gank and really not put them in any risk at all. Hellbringer, yes, finish the Void Talisman. The Sheepstick is completed onto Tundra, so that's definitely going to be beneficial. And Cthulhuphant. So they have plenty of disable for the Magebane now. It's just a matter of actually getting it off, and that's going to require perfect initiation by their part. They can't get jumped on, or there's going to be too much going on for them to really aim those targeted abilities properly. Here comes an initiation on the Puppet Master. They're going to find him here. The Shell Surf locks him down, but no, he's going to get dusted at the last second. He gets the shrunken head off. Malphus activated onto Bubbles. They're going to get locked down onto Parasite, but Magebane coming to join the party. Here goes the first Sheepstick on him. They're going to lock him down. One more, get another Tundra ultimate. They do finish off Magebane. They make him use the Token of Life here, but now he's going to turn focus onto Cthulhuphant, activating that shrunken head. They're not going to be able to lock him down again for the next 6 or 7 seconds, and they're going to be forced to fall back. Hellbringer activating that Void Talisman with perfect timing. Now they're going to, the shrunken head deactivated on Magebane. He's going to have to fall back. Ooh, they get the Puppet ultimate off onto him. That's the type of team fight that you want to see by Reason Gaming. That was not easy, and they executed that flawlessly. They actually forced a buyback out by Bubbles too in that team fight. So he came back, but it doesn't look like he was able to turn the tides very much. So, yeah, that being said, Reason does an extremely well job staggering those item disables and the skill abilities perfectly. So now Mage Bane without a token, again, not looking too scary. He's probably getting close to that next item, regardless of what it's going to be. I think Legion team has enough lockdown and damage to deal with him. Maybe a Wing Bow would give him a little bit more survivability. Ward Beast going to come into the woods here and scout out Deadwood Falcon Punch, connecting on the Ward Beast with the Mana Sunder, though. He's able to activate the Shrunken Head, which instantly disperses the Mana Sunder. Now he's turning his attention onto Deadwood. Can Deadwood juke into the trees? No, he gets a nice crit off. Now he's turning his attention on Amira, activating that. All right, they are going to get the counter kill on him. He's got a little bit greedy. Puppet Master's kind of got to make a decision here, and playing it safe, doesn't overcommit. Probably the wise decision. Warbeast nearly got 2 kills out of that, but yeah, Moira picking up that. Why do I want to keep calling it Veiled Rot? The Void Talisman is going to keep her alive in this game, and are arguably one of the strongest items for a support who just wants a little bit of survivability, especially in that situation. Hellbringer is going to use these illusions to kind of scout out a bit. Puppet Master is continuing to farm. He's grabbed a helm, or a Whispering Helm, which will likely become a... I want to call it a Satanic, but I know it's not. Yeah, Symbol of Rage. It's one of those items. Oh, crap. My overlay up top lane. Initiation onto Mage Bane. They're going toe-to-toe, but they take him out. Just too much lockdown, and now that Mage Bane's fallen here... this is definitely an opening for Legion side, at the very least, to force out a buyback by him. I definitely think that they can force him to buy back here if they push quickly enough. They have Hellbringer's ultimate off of cooldown. Cthulhu, plenty of mana. Yeah, this whole team's ready to take a team fight. The only piece they're missing is Warbeast, who is going to defend mid lane. I was hoping he had post haste to come join the party up at top. They're going to scout out Deadwood and Moira right away with the Shiver here. The Dust, though, is going to spot him out, but basically saying, we know that you know that we know that you know. That puts the Dust on cool. They're going to spot Parasite here. Look at that. Cthulhu going to hook him and take out the creep. Here comes the Malphite ultimate, putting in the damage. Parasite's going to get melted. He does survive because of the Moira ultimate. Mage Bane, though, turning his attention to Hellbringer. Hellbringer's going to get a nice TP out. They're locking him down. Cthulhu doing a surprising amount of damage. Tundra kind of being the sacrificial lamb. They're kind of waiting for Warbeast to come and join the party, but he's telling them, no, don't take the fight. Get out with your life if you can. Interestingly enough, Puppet Master seems to be lingering. He's going to turn his attention to Bubbles. Here comes the Mana Sunder onto Puppet Master. He's going to get spotted out here by Moira. She does not have her ultimate. She has the Shards of Harkon coming off, so get the stun on there. Deadwood going to join the party. The Rotten Grasp connects on the Puppet Master, and they see through the invisibility, so he gets locked down. Puppet Master, very, very greedy play there, or just poor play by Arch Tiger, who didn't stay to really support his teammates there. Yeah, I would have definitely liked to see Warbeast involved in that team fight. They could have definitely taken that with a little bit more support. But at the same time, they end up exchanging 2 for 2. The gold lead slowly tilting back in the favor of Hellborn team. As Mage Bane is really approaching that deadly position. But he's going to be full slotted soon. He already used a buyback, so they did force the buyback out. And that's really good for Legion side. They further delay that last item slot. He's feeling pretty confident here. He makes his way, and he's working his way through the Legion side jungle. But he does have to be careful. If he gets spotted out even by a second for one of those Hellhounds or the Shiver, they have so many Sheep Sticks, so many Hellflowers and Disables. And it's deadly. Here we go. Wow, just a lot of damage coming out onto Hellbringer by those Mage Bane illusions. Warbeast picking up the Savage Mace, so if Magebane goes for the Wing Bow, or the Wind Bow as I've seen it called by Twitch chat, he's going to be prepared, and I think that's the logical path for Magebane, just more attack speed, more damage for the Geometer's Bane, and the evasive properties. You know, a lot of physical damage coming out here, so it makes sense. But a little preemptive item purchase by Architiger, so I definitely like that. I would even like to see Puppet Master work on one of his own, but saving for buyback gold, probably not the worst idea at this point because they've lost a team fight or two. And it was only because WOP Dash chose not to siege the base, they chose to go for Kongor, that there's not a barracks missing at this point. So using the Shiver, pretty much relentless and really well played by Labyrinth here, just constantly keeping an eye on the Hellborn team's positioning. There are quite a lot of words of revelation around, though, so likely Hellborn is aware of Shiver's positioning too. So Magebane, he's about, I'd say about 2,000 gold away from an actual purchase, because I think that he also wants to keep a buyback handy. Tulafan. Any other notable item purchases? I think this might be a puzzle box of his own in the works by Tundra, just to further push. The support hero here, Hellbringer's, almost found his way to a restoration stone, which is, you know, that's pretty awesome for the sacrificial support role to actually be able to get that, albeit 40 minutes into the game. It's still gonna be viable and powerful. So I'm not sure. He might finish the Symbol of Rage. I'd like to see him just go for more damage because it really, if he gets caught out, he's dead. I don't think the Symbol of Rage in this matchup is going to really help him too much. And Cthulhuphant is going to be building maybe something, I don't know what those items make together. Is this, it's not a demonic. Okay, he's going to be going for this Ultor's Heavy Plate, which I haven't seen in action too much, but I'm aware, yeah, it removes all the debuffs and stuff like that. And it looks like Shortkin is back, so call out onto him here.
All right.
All right, welcome back, man. This game has really gone back and forth. Hellborn's definitely closed the gap a little bit, but it's still, I'd say Legion team is still pretty much in a good position. To actually win the game.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried for Legion, though. It does seem like they might have screwed up a couple team fights.
Yeah, they did lose a couple team fights, but they won a couple since then. Really, only thing WOP Dash, when they won the team fight, they went straight for Kongor, so they didn't siege the base at all. And Legion team now has 2 Sheepsticks, a Hellflower, and a Brutalizer. And a Savage Mace and a Warbeast. So they have more than enough to deal with the Magebane, and they killed him with a token already, so... They just
Mara
have
is
to get
scouting.
the jump. Yeah. If Legion team gets jumped on, it gets messy. If they make the jump, then Hellborn team is pretty much screwed.
It's pretty difficult, though, because Magebane has got the Geos and the Frostwolf, so his illusions are going to be really tanky, and he's able to push with them quite effectively, as you can see in the bottom lane.
Yeah, he's definitely been putting a lot of pressure on it. But you see, Hellbringer's almost got a Restoration Stone, too, so... There's Symbol
They
of
seem to be
Rage.
going Kong, though.
Yep. It definitely complicates things. If they get the token on a Magebane, that's kind of sad. But then again, Magebane's not going to be able to finish off the Windbow in his 6th slot, having that token. So they showed that they have so much disabled that they can actually finish off. Sheepstick on a Magebane. Tundra locking him down. Unfortunately, nobody's in the background putting damage onto him just yet. Look at Warbeast and Puppet Master melting Magebane. This could be it. Moira's going to fall down to the Malphus. Deadwood activating that Shrunken Head, but he doesn't really get much off damage. Way of Puppet Master falls. Cthulhuphant with the save. Puppet Master's actually going to be able to fall back, and now he can turn around and turn the fight back. They're locking down Parasite. We have a buyback by Magebane. He's going to try to turn the tides a little bit here, and likely Tundra will fall.
Puppet takes out Bubbles in a good play down there. Magebane buyback, but I mean he's a one-man army right now.
Yeah, their disables are only on cooldown for 4 or 5 more seconds, so he is gonna have to fall back.
Tundra is coming as well. I think he bought back.
Yes, there comes the Blink Sheep onto him. Warbeast's gonna be putting the auto attacks. He actually finished off
Double
Kongor
sheep.
and took the token in the background. They locked down Magebane. That's how you do it. You get the jump, Legion side coming out on top. I don't think Hellborn's going to be able to stop this right now. This could be a base ending push.
Yeah, that symbol was just insane. He was able to survive on Puppet Master way longer than he should have. He got Deadwood punched, he got Parasite on him completely, and I mean, symbol just kept him alive. Yeah, this is gonna be no buybacks left on Mage Bane, so this is a game.
Legion team got so much farm on their roamers and their secondary gankers and stuff. It was just crazy. If they didn't have all those sheep sticks, there's no way Mage Bane would have died so many times. It's just they did a really good job spreading the farm out.
Like having a sheep stick on both Cthulhu and Tundra is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. On top of picking heroes that already have a shitload of disables. Like,
Yeah.
it was definitely a great counter pick. Here's his initiation onto Parasite. He's going to get Storm Spirited by Bubbles, but I don't think that's going to keep him alive very long. There comes the Moira ultimate. Warbeast ulting out of it, locking down Parasite, trying to put in the damage. Puppet Master taking a lot of damage. He's eventually going to fall. Shell Surf coming in to put a little bit more damage on, but Warbeast still has the token. They realize that they're kind of getting baited here, and they're going to fall back. They got distracted from the barracks for sure.
But why didn't they just go for Rex?
Yeah, that's what they should have done. They did get distracted there. Hellborn team is going to try to pursue Warbeast, but he's got his ultimate up. He's going to fall back. At the same time, they clean up the base, and now you have Resto on Hellbringer, and just so much gold floating around Legion side. I don't think they have to be worried. Puppet buy something?
I think Puppet bought back. Yeah.
Yeah, he bought back at one point, but I still feel like he should have something in his stash. I
No,
don't
but
know.
he just bought back. He died in their base,
Right.
and so he just bought back.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of interesting. But anyways, I think they're confident enough to take this game now with the resto on Hellbringer. And well, Archie, buy that demonic. Do it.
Yes, Cthulhu finish up that Ultar's heavy plate. Well, Cthulhu can build a demonic. He's got a bulwark already.
Yeah, I like seeing it on Warbeast though, because he's
Warbeast.
really gonna use that auto tech well. He's got 414 damage.
Yeah, it's true. There's a ton of attack speed too. Synergizes with the Brutalizer as well. Here comes Puppet Master. He's going to be looking for Mage Bane. He's got support nearby too. He finds Mage Bane. There he goes. Gets the Puppeteer show off on a Mage Bane. Here comes Tundra's trying to set something up there. They're going to lock down Mage Bane. No more buybacks. Hellborn team really no source of damage coming out. In the background down here at the bottom, Cookies falls, and that's the concede vote called and completed. Reason Gaming takes game one.
Yeah, I mean that was just. I think the draft was really well played by Reason. I mean there were some hiccups along the way just because they might have gotten a little bit overconfident, or Bubbles did a huge play. I'm hearing from people, but yeah. So I really just think Reason's draft was really, really well thought out. I mean, they have perfect scouting with Tundra and Warbeast. They have 2 carries to deal with the Mage Bane with a lot of lockdown, at least Puppet Master, that is. And then they have a good Suicide who got his PK before mid or any other hero on the team in this game.
I agree. The draft, definitely, they played it and they itemized perfectly with that draft to counter the Mage Bane. On top of that, they played the game of their lives right there. And yeah, that's going to do it for that. I happen to agree with everything you said there. We are going to go to a short break here before they start the next one. I assume you're going to be here for the next cast as well? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, perfect. Then we'll go to the short break here, and once the game starts, we'll return.